School Board, October 27th. Welcome to this formal regular session for this month. I would like to start by doing the flag salute. So if you'd all stand and join us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for coming, everyone. I do want to mention we are down one director this evening. Director Kim Strelchin is out on a personal family matter and is not with us tonight. With that, we will move on to our student presentation, where Director Janine Solomon is going to introduce.
Tonight it is my pleasure to introduce the staff and students of the Title VII Indian Education Program. This is Deborah Giles' fourth year leading the Indian Education Program, which provides academic support and cultural enrichment for our Native American students. Tonight, the students will demonstrate Native drumming, and I ask that anybody who has never had the opportunity to see the event that they have at Liberty High School, to please look for that and keep that on your calendar, because it is truly amazing. So please join me tonight in welcoming them.
I want to thank you, Janine. Thank you for having me. As Janine said, I'm Deborah Giles. I'm Eastern Band Cherokee Indian, and these are our Title VII, part of our Title VII program. I wanted to give you a little background on our program. This is our fourth year, and we have a few students that are Native American. So in the spring of 2012, Travis Ryman and I found an opportunity to apply for the Title VII grant. But part of the stipulation is you have to have a parent committee. So we didn't have a program, we didn't have a parent committee, but we called all of our Native American parents and formed our meeting. We were on a short timeline to apply for the grant. They came, we had 16 people at that meeting. And one of the objectives is, we have to set our objectives for the grant. So with that, we set some academic goals, but the parents were adamant about providing community awareness for the Hillsboro area, and also cultural enrichment activities for the students. So at that meeting, we had 47, at that time of the meeting, we had 47 students that were eligible for the program. We applied for the grant and we received the grant, and then we began our program. So today, I'm pleased to say that we have 104 students in our program. We have 58 elementary and 46 at the secondary level, and 38 tribes represented. In January of 2014, we decided to have the Native American dance classes. We started those, and we still have those once a week this year. And with that, Janine mentioned the powwow. We had our first powwow at Liberty that May, and it was very successful. And then we had a second one this last May, 2015, and we'll have a third one this year. We're going to do that in April. So in March last year, the parents decided to have a drumming class. So the students, they have their drums, and they made their drums. They stretched the leather over the wind frames, they made their drumsticks, and they also decorated their drums. So tonight, they're going to play a song that they learned last year. Unfortunately, the instructor we had last spring has moved away, So they have been practicing on their own, and I'm really proud and honored to have them play. Grayson? So Grayson is going to lead. So, Anna, do you want to introduce yourself?
My name is Anna, and I'm from Arizona.
Nina?
My name is Mina, and I'm Travis Pitwilla.
Where do you go?
My name is Grayson, and I Travis from Pitt River King, or brothers.
My name is Tate, and I'm from the Navajo tribe.
My name is Jackson. I am from the Apache of Arizona.
And it just happens that all 5 of these students go to Jackson Elementary School. So thank you for having us. Can we get a picture?
Bust it out, show me your drums, okay? Alright, we'll do 2. Ready? 1. Oh, don't cover your face, sweetie. I want to see your face. 1, 2. Okay, one more time. Ready? Big smile. Ready? Here we go. Awesome. Very nice.
Well, we do have some staff breakers, I guess, so whenever you get your drum, it says that way.
Those are really good drums. Excellent. Okay. Well, unfortunately, we have to move on to business. Wonderful part of the meeting. I appreciate it so much. I'm looking for a motion for approval of the agenda.
So I will make a motion to amend the agenda to move the appointment of budget committee members forward to an earlier time and remove the first reading of policy JHCD, non-prescription medication, and policy JHDCA, prescription medication, to be rescheduled for November.
Second.
Motion to approve modified agenda made by Glenn and seconded by Lisa. Any comments or questions? All those in favor? Say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. And we will continue on as such. Okay, there's the we are going to take care of that at the right before the reports and discussion, the moving of the vote to right after audience time. With that, we are moving on to item number 5, audience time. Audience, we have a statement regarding audience participation. Public participation at board meetings is governed by policy BDBH. Patrons may comment on specific agenda items at the beginning of the meeting, or at the discretion of the board chair may be deferred to a time this item is before the board as stated in the agenda. Comments about non-agenda items will be heard during audience time at the beginning of the regular board meeting. Speakers shall be limited to 3 minutes. Speakers may offer objective criticisms of school operations and programs that are of concern to them. However, in public sessions, the board will not hear personal complaints of school personnel, nor against any person connected to the school system. Other channels provide for board consideration and disposition of legitimate complaints involving individuals, including board policy KL and KLD public complaints. And if anyone wishes to address the board, they should complete the board agenda card that's located on the back table. And with that, we do have 2 requests to talk before the board, and so we will hear those both now. First, we'll hear from Kristen Martin, and then on deck after that will be Maureen. So you just come up to the podium and state your name and address for the record, and go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Kristen Martin. I have to say the whole address. 967 Southeast Bloomville Court, Hillsboro, Oregon. My family and I are proud residents of the Hillsboro School District and here love living in Hillsboro. I was here 2 years ago, and my first thing I have to say is I was here with a group of parents because of the huge class sizes. I have twins and they were in the kindergarten system, and they walked into a class of 33 kids and no aid. And so we brought, a lot of our parents came and brought our concerns, and then we went to 31 kids last year in first grade, and this year we're at 27. So that's exciting. So I just want to say thank you for hearing our concerns about class size. We know this group gets it. So thank you, appreciate that. Tonight I am here to actually represent about 8 families from Inlay who actually have come forward and worked with me on an issue that we're concerned about. So we'd like to express concerns regarding a decision that was made this summer by the Hillsboro School District to displace the Inlay Elementary Champions After School program with the THPRD Plus program. A bunch of parents stormed the first PTA meeting. It was pretty intense. A representative was sent to us from facilities. We didn't know they were going to be there. They didn't give us a time to speak. And basically told us Champions was a glorified after-school program and got displaced by a real enrichment program. They did hear our concerns and came back with us about 2 weeks ago saying that the last program would allow for a couple positions. So I just want to go ahead and move forward. So Champions has served Inlay for over 7 years. Inlay families received no communication from the school district of the change. We were informed by the Champions staff late in the summer, and they were given no details either. So there were all these rumors flying about why the program had been displaced, which was hard. Families scrambled to make arrangements, if possible, at the last minute. While the Hillsboro School District did provide bus transportation to Tobias Elementary School, it often took, and still takes, up to 45 minutes for the kids to get from Inlay Elementary to Tobias. They're little, and that's a long time on the bus. Some days are better, but there are multiple stops along the way, and they're the last stop. The schools are only about a mile and a half apart. The Champions program was moved from an ideal facility at Inlay to a room at Tobias with no windows. Inlay families received late notice about the possibility of enrolling in the last program and waited over an hour at the 8 a.m. spot to register. None of them got in, and they were all placed on the wait list. Number 2, I have the number 3. Thank you. Inlay working families have been affected in the following ways. 1, it limits spaces for Inlay students in the BLAST program. 2, BLAST program has a late start in the school year and then ends early weeks before the school year ends. It offers shorter hours ending at 5 o'clock. Many parents can't get to work by then. We're not sure if it's licensed. No one will get back to us on that request. It does not ensure homework completion. It is not available on teacher work days. It does not allow kindergartners to participate. It excludes Inlay students and Champions from participating in other after-school enrichment programs, both at that school and at Tobias, because the bus gets there 45 minutes later, so they miss out on both school programs. In comparison, Champions offers the following longer hours. We have till 6 to pick up our kids. Available during teacher work days, covers all school days for the entire school year, is a licensed, regionally known program with 30 years of proven experience in delivering enrichment programs, serves all grades K through 6, serves more Inlay working families, ensures homework is completed, hires and trains all their teachers, offers literacy, fitness, character development, art, and science. It's also a self-appointed STEM, Emily is a self-appointed STEM school in Hillsboro and champions, offers classes that enhance STEM education and nurtures lifelong critical thinking and technological aptitude skills. The ask from the parent group is that we want the Champions program to be moved back to Emily, as it is more inclusive of a wider range of Emily working families and is a licensed and renowned after-school enrichment program. Thank you.
So first of all, thank you for sharing your concern. Just to provide the board with some context, the reason that move occurred is that the BLAST program serves 60 families. There's just more openings for that group. And I know there is a current wait list of 20 there. And the BLAST program also is a hub that serves 4 elementary schools in that area. And last year, as we had to make decisions on where after-school and enrichment programs were held, at the end of the school day, there were decisions made that were impacted by our full-day kindergarten and the number of classrooms that were available, as well as just the physical space and some of the programming that was occurring at some of the other schools. So at that point, the decision was made to place the BLAST program at Inlay and to move the Champions program to Tobias. So I do apologize for the late notice. I know that did occur. I want to say it was July actually before you were notified. That could have happened sooner, so my apologies for that. I am glad that we were able to provide transportation. We would love to be a full-service provider and be able to have a number of programs at each schools, and that just isn't the case right now. And these are decisions that are revisited every year, and we will continue to keep this in mind. We do value both programs. One is serving a greater number of families, and that was the push on this one. Thank you.
Maureen.
So I actually did my homework on the policies that I think we're not going to discuss. And that's why I signed up for early time. The 3 policies that are on for tonight, I'll just save you the time at the end of the meeting, I guess. The first one about staff health and safety, this is great. We've been talking about this at safety committee meetings because the chemicals do have to be considered and other materials. You can't just store chemicals alphabetically because then you have the ammonia next to the bleach, and that's not good. The second policy was about wellness, and the additional piece about staff being a model for wellness. Something that I would like to see added to OEB and to these wellness issues is the notion of stress and the causes of what stress causes to physical well-being of human beings, including digestion and stress eating and the tendency to push people into diabetes too if they already have that tendency. So maybe we can be reasonable about how our day looks for our students, how many assessments we give them, that we can reinforce cooperation and getting along with the students and the staff, and maybe consideration could be given to a reasonable meeting schedules and expectations for staff. I think the exact words were to correct conditions in the workplace that compromise health in the policy that I presume is going to come up next month. And the last one, the prescription medications, I am wondering about the language about after-school programs. It says before or after-school care programs on school-owned property that prescription medications will be delivered, and I'm wondering who's responsible for that. So, thank you. Oh, I didn't give my name. Maureen Barnhart, 17652 Northwest Emmaus Lane, Portland, 97231, and I do live in the Hillsboro School District. Thank you.
Thank you. So we actually will be talking about the first 2. There was a lot of letters that went by, but it's only the medication one that is deferred until next time. So we will be talking about the first 2.
Thanks.
Perfect. All right. We will then be moving now to our process that we changed the order of the agenda, and we're moving forward the item for appointment of a budget committee member. There's some history. We've had a couple of vacancies. And I will about to say that. Adam, I'll just let you Oh, sure.
do the intro.
Well, as Wayne began to mention, we had 2 vacancies on our budget committee for this upcoming year. One of those was filled by the board at the September school board meeting. We had 1 vacancy remaining. We actually had two very qualified candidates apply. Those 2, Jason and Martin, addressed the board earlier at the work session. The board had an opportunity to ask some questions, and now we need to make a decision. So,
Okay. So I will be, we have these one vacant position on the budget committee, and I am now declaring nominations open for this budget committee position.
I'd like to nominate Martin Graham.
Okay, here a nomination for Martin Graham. Here are the nominations.
Yeah, I'd like to nominate Jason Keesman. Do we need seconds on these?
No, he's not in the second, so just make a note of that. And seeing as they are the only applied candidates, there are no more nominations. We will open the table for any discussion or questions. Should there be?
So I just wanted to say that I appreciated hearing from both candidates, and I think either one would be wonderful in this position. And I don't want to take my nomination of one to be a slight on the other, because I truly don't want it to be that way. The reason I actually chose Jason because I felt that I wanted to see a person who maybe was a little less involved in the process, get more involved, who had a person's outside the process, parent kind of experience coming in. So I know you'd be wonderful in the position to get it. That's terrific. I'd be totally happy. But, either way, both you guys are great, and we want to see you on all the committees. So it wasn't against anything that you said. I just thought that I wanted that common person. And the other thing is you seem to be blessed with many positions that you're already volunteering on. So that was the motivation.
I'll echo what Glenn said. I'm really glad that we had 2 excellent candidates for a really important committee, one of the most important things, the most important thing that we do. The reason why I nominated Martin is I feel like when we are talking about such an important budget, it's really important to have someone who has a strong foundation of budgeting experience and working with such large numbers. And I felt like when I asked that question, Martin's answer maybe was a little bit stronger, even though I think that Jason would have done an excellent job on the budget committee. Also, Martin lives in the low end, sent his kids through the school district in that area, and I know that's kind of an underserved area of our community, and it might do as well to support someone who lives in those neighborhoods.
So, any other comments?
I know Martin would do a great job, but I feel that having a parent of students on the committee is important, so that's why I favor Jason.
Thank you. Any other comments? Please.
I guess my comment was kind of like what I had asked in the work session is, do we have a place, we talked about, I mentioned like the report card committee and possibly having some sort of parent representative, possibly in this area, or do we know of other committee areas that we might be able to?
Yeah, and I can't list any right now, but typically what we've done in the past is that people that have shown an interest and didn't get selected, that we, as positions become available, we find a spot for them. We're always looking for volunteers. So.
But is that report card area, is that somewhere that you may that's really, we don't meet very often, it's kind of done, is that?
Yeah, that would be,
okay.
well, it just doesn't meet that often, and I think it's up in the air whether it's going to need to continue or not.
Okay.
I think the other thing we can do is make sure that we invite both representatives to all the meetings. I mean, we'll be meeting regularly starting in December, and we can make sure that both the person that is nominated and the other are invited to all of those meetings. So
Can the person not selected be on the mailing list so they're getting all of the...
Yeah.
They just can't vote.
They just can't vote.
So we don't have to do anything official to get them on that list?
Okay. Seeing no other comments, we'll close the discussion now and move to a vote. We have 2 candidates nominated, and I will ask first all those in favor of appointing Jason Kiesel to the Budget Committee, please say aye.
Aye.
And those in favor of Martin Graham, please say aye. Aye.
3-3. Super.
Perfect day for Kim Kiesel.
Perfect day for Kim Kagon.
Martin was Jason, is that right?
Yeah.
And Eric was Jason, is that right? Okay.
Well,
I'll break the tie and vote for Martin so that we can move on with other business.
Do we need to take an official vote? Revoting?
just revote?
I think we have to vote again.
So we will, voting again, all those in favor of Jason Kiesel for the Budget Committee, please say aye.
Aye.
And those voting for Martin Graham, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it, and we have appointed Martin to be a Budget Committee. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Congratulations, Martin.
Congratulations. We appreciate you'll get immediately connected, I'm sure. And one of the things I appreciate with the board is the early start on budget work, so that there's plenty of time for discussion and input gathering. So look forward to working with you. Thank you very much. Okay. Let's see. We are back to it's the ordered list. We are on item 6A, and we will hear our first report on October 1st enrollment report from Deb.
Yes, thank you. So what you have before you is the annual October 1st enrollment report. And this is what our funding basically is based on. And as you look at the top, then you'll see that we are slightly down in enrollment from last year, 65 students. The biggest area, as you can see, is kindergarten. We've been seeing a decrease in our kindergarten over the last several years, and this is a trend that we're seeing not just here in Hillsboro. So, but if we keep in mind that we're now funded fully for those kindergartners versus half, that helps a little bit, even though the number is down. As you see the trend from 2004, the last 11 years, we are on an upward trend in our enrollment. In the last 11 years that we have increased about 1,300 students over that period of time. So overall, we do have an increase in enrollment.
Any questions?
Kindergarten, I would think those numbers would have gone up since we're offering full day versus half day.
We kind of thought they would too.
I mean, so we're down 75, would have we been down 125 if, do we have any feel for that?
It's hard to say.
Okay.
We were thinking along with you that our kindergarten numbers would be closer to, I think we budgeted 1,590, something like that. We're slightly below what we built our budget on within, I think we started at 688 and we're at 654, so we're very close. The odd thing is that Beaverton is up about 800 kids. Tigard's up 100 kids. Forest Grove's up 30 kids. So I don't know exactly what to attribute it to. I think it might just be one of those years, and next year might be one of the years where things all of a sudden turn around. I know from talking to the demographer we work with at Portland State, kindergarten numbers statewide and nationwide have been down, and they're attributing it to the recession, that apparently people don't make babies as much during those difficult times. So.
Thank you for that lesson. But then we also kind of heard a parent's perspective earlier this evening who said their child had a later birthday, so they have them in a private kindergarten, and then next year fully, so we don't know, like,
Kindergarten was a,
Because that's a big, I mean, I have a September baby, so I mean, to really take that leap to full day, maybe some parent, you know, it's an adjustment process for the child, so.
and moving to full day, you know, we made some assumptions
Yeah.
that folks who were attending private full day kindergartens would be bringing them back in.
Right.
Apparently that didn't happen, so for whatever reason, I'm feeling good that we're within, you know, a fraction of a percentage on our estimate.
You're still proud to be HSD?
Yes.
Okay, any further questions? Very good. We'll move on to back to Adam, the financial report.
Oh, boy, that came up quick.
You just can't get used to it not being at the tail end when you're tired and worn out.
You have the information in front of you as to what's happening in all of our departments. I know that the audit committee had a chance to meet since our last meeting. An opportunity to sit down with the auditors from Mueller Swank and talk with them. We still have auditors in the building. They came back for another 2 days this week to finalize the process. I think from all indications it's gone very well. And we will have the document to them before they leave this week. So benefits team did outstanding work. Again, we had a mandatory, what do they call that process? No, it was a certification process. All of anybody who had OEBB insurance had to bring in certification of all their dependents, which was not our process, but we helped facilitate that process. And it was a big job, and our benefits department came through like champs again. So I'm happy to answer any questions. I will point out that when you get the November board packet, the financial information in there, the cash flow information that I include every month is going to be a little skewed because we actually had to turn that report in before the end of the month. So you're going to see, if you compare year to year, it will look a little off this month and it'll be the same in December just because of those early meeting dates in November and December. So don't fret.
You'd mentioned there was a section in there about grants, and was the person who's in charge of that grants, I apologize, I don't know the name.
Jeff Jones.
Was Jeff the person that was, does he specifically seek out, because I know recently our district received a $15,000 tag grant, so is that something that, how does, I don't know.
Yeah, Jeff does not solicit grants, doesn't write grants, he just accounts for the grants. So
okay.
When he accounts for all of the title, all the IDEA grants, all of the various grants that come in, he'll be responsible for the tag grant, for keeping track of it and reporting it to the auditors. That's his job.
In our audit committee meeting, we talked with
Pardon?
Michelle.
Yeah.
I know it wasn't him. Michelle, about reaching out to the PTAs, PTOs, about getting their books interwoven with the district's books, and we discussed about sending them a letter saying, reminding them that all the officers of that PTO are individually responsible for any monies going through there. Did that take place, or
we have reached out in the past to PTO, not PTOs, because PTOs are members of a broader organization, and they have their,
not PTO.
I'm sorry, PTAs. PTOs have the option of having their accounts kept within the building student body funds, in which case they are audited by the school district. They're overseen by the building bookkeeper. We encourage that, but we can't require it. But you're right, the message has to be, if you're going to manage your own funds, then your officers are those people that are responsible for it.
do we send out that message to them? Or?
We do.
Okay.
Janine?
I just wondered, it's a really good point that he's making, and I'm wondering, like, because a lot of, unfortunately, when there's a situation that comes up, general public usually looks at that and it reflects back to the district, to the school. So just making sure how clear we can be in that message when something happens, because usually that's where people
yeah,
let that
and
go.
when it happens, it's too late. We need to make sure the message
Right.
gets out before.
Yeah. Oh, make sure, yeah.
Yes, we will make that effort.
Okay. Any other questions for Adam? Thank you, Adam. Next, we will be moving to policy first readings. And first up, we have Casey with policy GBE on staff health and safety.
Good evening. Some minor changes, recommended updates to the staff health and safety, mainly coming from OSHA regulations on changing the name of material safety data sheets now just to safety data sheets. They took the M off of that. That's one of the major changes. We added some things behind the superintendent as a designee to implement some of this stuff, and then change a little bit of the language regarding how staff are made aware of the SDS sheets and their use. So an example of this would be when we're having a science experiment and we're using some chemicals, that the information about safety of that chemical is on the SDS sheet, and so it should be reviewed about what happens if there's a spill or some kind of exposure to the product and how to react to that. So those are the main changes in this policy. Here, answer any questions that you may have about SDS sheets.
Any questions? I feel bad though. It's actually a question.
I can go through a whole thing if you want.
It's huge. We're going through it at work.
So I'll just make a quick comment that I'm going to have to get used to doing the SDS because it's so long that material, MSDS.
I think I'll always call them MSDS, and we are working on an internal online system so staff have an easier access to the SDS sheets.
My first job was in a chemical factory.
Just learn all sorts of things.
That explains a lot.
Yeah.
Superhero status. Data. Thank you very much.
I think he's still up, isn't he?
Oh,
No,
Oh, no, sorry.
this is me.
all right. Next up is
You want to take it?
Adam. Unless Casey wants to, for Adam to say over.
We've got two policies and an AR for your review this evening. EFA, policy EFA is the local wellness program. Policy EFAA is the district nutrition and food services program. And EFAA-AR is one of the few policies that actually requires board approval. We are having what do they call the audit that's being done? An administrative review of our school nutrition program coming up in November. And as part of that, we are updating all of the school nutrition policies and making sure that we have all of the required language that is required by the federal school nutrition program covered. And that includes information on wellness. The AR that you have attached that goes into great detail are all of those regulations that the federal government requires in order for us to offer and be reimbursed for our free and reduced breakfast and lunch program. So, Cindy, do you want to talk? This is Cindy Longway. She is our food service director, and she is the person who has helped us draft this whole thing. Are there any specific things that you want to point out?
The one piece, the local wellness program was developed actually in 2006. It was a mandate from the federal government. And so this is what's kind of transpired since then for that piece.
And that's a part of the federal requirement.
Requirements. The ARs are just things that have been updated since the Healthy Hunger-Free Children's Act. of 2010. And that's just been an ongoing 5-year program that they've updated the food nutrients and the menus and what we're required to offer to the students.
And when we can sell.
And the smart snacks, which is something that just went into effect July 1st, for the smart snacks in the schools that we sell to students.
So this is on 30-day review. I don't want to walk you through every change, but I'm guessing there are questions that you'll have as you review this that I'm happy to have Cindy answer.
Start at the end and go through.
Maureen, did you have a particular, Maureen? Did you have a particular comment on this particular one?
On the wellness one?
Yeah.
Well, I was looking at the language about staff improving morale and being healthier, and my comment was that stress is a significant contributor to obesity and diabetes type 2, and that it would be great if we could be considering that as part of our wellness plans. And part of that too is also making sure that we're helping our students feel comfortable in their environment so that they don't feel that stress. Thank you.
So is that a change to this policy or addition that you'd like to see? Or?
It's an addition I would like to see. Mine is more of a comment / question. For something like this with a policy change, I'm wondering if it's possible to include a link for us. For example, I got a little bit concerned at first when I was seeing all the things being deleted. And I was like, why are we deleting this? And then I read the thing about smart snacks, and I went and I had to Google that, and I read that, and then I felt a lot more comfortable with the language in there. But it would have been great if we had a link. Maybe if it's not too difficult to do so that I don't have to figure out.
Okay.
We do have a link on our nutrition website.
Right, and it was easy to find once I looked for it. I just mean when I'm looking, when we're in our packet, it's possible. And if not, it's not the end of the world.
Maybe even in the citations at the end.
That'd be great, yeah.
Good.
Sure. When I was looking this over, the thing that jumped out at me was the change to the competitive foods instead of, calling out what they were. And that I had to think about for a while. And I think I already know the answer to this, but the purpose of these is not to restrict, what students bring home to eat. It's just to what we're able to give them. In other words, despite our best counseling, if a student brings a bag of M&Ms, they can still consume that without getting dirty looks from the teacher, right? Okay,
We can't sell it in our student stores.
We're not controlling dirty looks, but.
I had a couple of questions. One, that when we're looking at policies like this, I appreciate that you're going to be going under a kind of a review process, but looking at ways that we can either broaden or expand, or maybe even start, I'm not sure, the farm to school program. I know that I'm thinking that some schools possibly have some connections, do they not? Yeah.
And we do, if they do have a school garden, we do use any of the pieces, any of the fresh produce in our school lunches.
Okay.
For that, usually it's a short period of time in September.
Okay.
That's available.
Do we ever have, I know that there are CSAs, I believe, in the Helvetia area that, significantly large, that I don't know if we ever reach out or have the ability to really order right from these local farms. And
we received a grant this year for $80,000 to buy from local farms.
Okay.
And we just purchased candy from a local farm.
Oh, I read about that on Facebook.
Spring Hill, Spring Bridge or something, blueberries, fresh blueberries. We have Bob's Red Mill, and we do for our production bakery. And there's been other local farmers that we have purchased from.
That sounds fantastic. I know that I spoke to some farmers that are out Helvetia area that have always talked about wanting to increase that and see how they can, work with schools to, have you ever been to an elementary school lately? Like, I can give you an example. At Tobias Elementary, that is the most beautiful rainbow of a salad bar I have ever seen. It looks fantastic. And so to be able to say that we have outreach ability to local farmers and things like that is huge, and would love to see that program grow, because we're just in an area that's just bountiful in harvest. And then another one is, we talk about, is somewhere in here about soda machines, and are they completely not allowed in schools at all? I know that there has been a thing about Coke contract, that I'm not sure how long that is in. And does that affect when you're looking at, people are reviewing your?
Well, we can have Coke products that meet the requirements. I mean, they have
So,
water, they
Daniel
have
water,
juice, and, yeah.
Minute Maid juice.
And the 0 calories
Okay.
is a piece that meets in the high schools.
Yeah. So they don't have any issue in there about fake sugar. That's not part of it. Last but not least, the smart snacks packet that you talked about, are those the pre-packaged? And they come with like a goldfish and a drink, and do they come pre-packaged to you? I don't know what this is.
Is that the snack program where they come pre-packaged?
I don't know. I was at a Lego, I'll just tell you how I came about this. I was at a Lego Robotics giving a presentation on recycling, and then they broke out their snacks. And they said, well, these are the snacks that are provided to us. But the students wondered and asked about the plastic that everything comes in and how it's all recycled. And they were asking, how does this fall into?
That is the after-school snack program that we have available in schools for enrichment programs, and that comes as a bundled item.
To you?
Yes.
Yeah, that's already. Can you put in a request to have it not like put in plastic? Or is that like a nationwide? I don't know, just throwing that out there.
Possibly.
It's just students, they actually brought it up, so. Yeah. That's.
And Eric, were you? So any other questions for this?
Send my way.
And your board.
Send it my way anyway.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for being here.
We are moving on. And we are up to item 7, our consent agenda. I would be looking for a motion to handle our consent agenda.
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion to approve our consent agenda was made by Eric and seconded by Lisa. Any discussion? Ginny?
Just to say that my point was that I had asked questions in regards to policy KG, like in the work session, and I feel like my answers, I received good answers to those concerns, and so I just wanted to note that.
Thank you. Okay, seeing no more questions or comments, those in favor of the consent agenda, please say aye. Aye. And those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we are to our action items. I am looking, Val, do I have this, or is this?
Yes, it's one of the things that needs a signature.
There it is. It's shortened too, huh? Maybe not. Shortened up electronic version.
Very good. So first item for action is to proclaim American Education Week. And we have that resolution here. And what is the normal order that I would read the resolution and then call for a vote? Or okay, so I will do that. I will call for a motion to proclaim American Education Week recognized, and looking for a motion.
make a motion to approve or proclaim American Education Week as stated in the packet.
I will second that.
Okay, the motion has been made by Janine and seconded by Gwen. Are there questions before I read the proclamation? I will do so now. Proclamation. Whereas public schools are the backbone of our society, providing young people with the tools they need to maintain our nation's precious values of freedom, civility, and equality, and whereas by equipping young Americans with both practical skills and broader intellectual abilities, schools give them hope for and access to a productive future, and whereas education employees, be they licensed, classified, and technical support staff or administrators, work tirelessly to serve our children and communities with care and professionalism. And whereas our nation is celebrating the week of November 16th through 20th of 2015 as American Education Week, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Hillsboro School District does proclaim the week of November 16th through 20th, 2015 as American Education Week in Hillsboro School District with the theme, Great Public Schools, a Basic Right and Our Responsibility. The Board of Directors further encourages all citizens to extend their commitment to public education and to the future of our children by supporting our community schools through the contribution of time and energy. Dated the 27th of October, 2015. Are there any other questions? Those in favor of declaring this in Hillsboro School District as American Education Week, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And those opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries. Okay. We will move to item 8C on the agenda packet. Mike, with approval of Education Service District level participation.
Thank you. As you know, each year the board votes to, on the participation level that the Hillsboro School District engages in with the ESD. In 2013, it was approved. There was legislation that was enacted that allowed us to pull money as pass-through dollars from those monies that were allocated to the ESD on behalf of each individual school district. For the past couple of years, we have, last year, in 2015-16, we passed through 75% of those dollars that were allocated. And my recommendation would be that we do the same thing for 2016-2017. And just as a reminder, we talked about this in a work session about a month ago, and the information that came forward is that we will be using some of our service credits that's allocated.
And having an environment that is safe for staff to do their job, that is free from unnecessary stressors, that have a welcome and collaborative environment is really important. I really want to focus in on special education, especially when you have students who do have violent tendencies, or even just normal students who have violent tendencies, making sure that staff have the support from administrators to make sure that a quality safety plan is in place to make sure those students are taken care of, and that those students have the support they need in order to participate. From what I hear, there's always issues with getting resources because of the limited scope and the limited resources we have available to us. Not every student is able to get all the additional adult supervision that they need with the correct training and all the things that are important. We put a lot, especially in the secondary schools, we put a lot of focus on our campus security to help deal with violent students, and they're there to keep people safe, but they're not there to get their face punched in by teenagers who are having problems. And unfortunately, the only way to really solve that is in collaboration with parents and principals and the staff themselves to make sure that students are in the correct programs with the correct supports, and they're able to get through the school day without having those kinds of issues. So I think my plea to the school board is to just make sure that you keep looking at the wellness and the safety of our staff, to make sure that when they leave, they're not covered in bruises. So thank you.
Jill Golay, Vice President of the Hillsboro Education Association. And Maureen just asked me like 15 minutes ago, Jill, do you want to come here? And so, guys, a little grace under pressure, I guess, but she doesn't know what I'm going to say. So, but I do want to say that Hillsboro Education Association has had a busy fall. We've been welcoming all of our new members, which we've had a lot, and also providing information about their union. We have been also updating all of our, the building reps have been updating all of our membership rosters, making sure that all our information is up to date as well as their work site. And one of our focuses this year is to encourage more opportunities for our members to network with one another. So we started a Friday at 4, and we'll have our second one this next Friday, which is the first Friday at 4. And it's around Hillsboro businesses, and we are providing appetizers, and it's an opportunity for them just to get to know one another, as well as get to know the Hillsboro Education Association Executive Board and who we are. We are also continuing our positive relationship with our building principals, and are excited that we are going to host, along with the Hillsboro School District, a joint principal rep gathering this Thursday. It's a training followed by a dinner, and so it's a great opportunity for principals and the building reps to just network and get to know each other a little better and how we tick and what we need from one another. And also last year, the Hillsboro Education Association began holding a Saturday coffee chat with our local legislators. And we're going to continue to do this and have this opportunity to network with Representative Gallegos and McLean and Senator Chuck Riley, because we know how important it is that they know what we need. And we've heard from the board members that it's important that we teachers also speak our voice and let them know what we need as teachers and as a district. And then finally, the teachers are getting really excited because they've heard that the bargaining team and the district are close to a tentative agreement. And I just want to say on behalf of the school teachers that I'd like to say thank you for the many hours of work that team has put forth to make this happen.
Okay, Superintendent's time. Mike.
Thank you. So I just wanted to address some of Devin's comments. Of course, the safety of our staff is of utmost concern to us. Also, in addition, the needs of our students are of utmost concern to us. And I would push back and say that I would never have two classifications of students, those with special needs and those normal students, as you call them. We take the needs of all of our students very seriously. And we look to include students in instruction based on what they can do, not what they can't do. And we will continue to hold that as a value for the Hillsboro School District. We, of course, again, are concerned about the safety of our staff. We're also concerned about the needs of our students, and we'll continue to look out for those needs. On another note, I had the opportunity to go to outdoor school at Camp Magruder, and had the opportunity to visit both Brookwood and Tobias students as they were out there. Got to see them dissecting squid, digging for sand crab, working to identify environmental adaptations that had taken place. And it was just a great reminder of how great outdoor school is and what a great experience that is for our sixth graders. While I was out there, I was hit up by 3 teachers and the camp director about, hey, could we have an extra night here in the near future? So we held off on letting them know about that, but it is something they value in a big way. Finally, I was going to introduce Grant Corliss. He hasn't had the opportunity to speak in front of the board yet. So he will get that opportunity, I'm sure, in the near future. He is the new Executive Director of Elementary Education, and I just want to make sure you knew who. Thank you. There she goes.
Very good. Final board of directors time. Should we start with
Emily?
I don't have anything to add.
Yeah, I did my thing at the work session too, so thank you for coming, everybody.
Janine?
A couple things. It's exciting to see, parents coming together and being at our meetings. To understand policies and to hear these discussions, I think is a great perspective for you to take part in, and so I just really appreciate you being here. And I also think, I apologize, I don't know the exact ballot measure, but I urge you guys to, outdoor school is an incredible opportunity for our students. When I was in 6th grade, I went to Camp Westwind, and I had a fantastic experience and still remember, and Tracy, one of our nurses here in the district, was in my cabin at Westwind. Ask her about some of the little antics. It is fantastic, and there is a ballot measure that's out there that is collecting signatures right now to have, so that every student can have 1 full week of outdoor school. And I have signed it. I know that it is extremely important because so many of our students do not have that experience. There are so many different experiences that they deal with, not only being out in nature and discovering nature. Some of them have maybe never been away from home, and it's just a great experience to be able to bond with their teachers and their other fellow students. And it's memories for a lifetime. So I urge you guys to look into that and see about that because it's great things. So that's all I got.
I just want to quickly clarify my nay vote on the Education Week resolution. I'm not opposed to education, but I do think these week proclamations are a silly waste of public meeting time, so we'll be voting against all the weeks that we proclaim during the year. So it doesn't mean that I hate school board members and teachers and superintendents. I do hate proclaimed weeks. So just to clarify that, I do support education, in case you're wondering.
Thank you. Well, I think I've said most of my comments earlier. If you haven't, we'll mention the boundary adjustment process is going forward. If you haven't had a chance to look on both the school district websites, information is all there about it. It's been a very productive process and very interesting. Thank you all so much for coming. We appreciate your time. Muchas gracias por estar aquí. Buenas noches. Good night, everybody, and we're adjourned.